and I know what you're going to say, Jon Jones is retired.
Yep.
But if he never steps into the cage with you and you two never fight, what do you think that does for his legacy, but also for your legacy? Is it possible for you to be the best and be the greatest without beating him?
That's someone else's opinion, to be honest. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm not really thinking about that too much, to be honest.
So that sort of stuff doesn't bother
No,
you, as long as you're fighting the people that are in front of you.
I can only control what I can control. The other stuff is to do with other people.
As a response to the criticism, Tom Aspinall said that his work goes on even though Jon Jones is dead. Rico Hovland, on the other hand, says that Tom Aspinall is a monster on his feet and on the ground, and that Jon Jones has never encountered someone as adept in striking as Tom. He even said that Tom's hitting was like his own, and said that Tom would do well in kickboxing. Rico was bold when he said that Tom would easily beat Jon Jones, and that Jones would have no chance.
There's one guy who could mimic a Jon Jones on the feet. It's Rico Verhoeven.
He's gonna wipe the floor. He's gonna wipe the floor with Jon Jones.
You believe
Jon Jones doesn't have a chance versus Tom Aspinall. Mark my words. Tom Aspinall is a freaking monster.
I love it.
On his feet and on the ground. So, and I truly believe that Jon Jones has never faced somebody that is that good on his feet. On the ground, he's faced some guys that are pretty good. But on his feet, I think Tom is, he would even do good in the kickboxing ring. He would be a top competitor to fight me.
Even though Tom Aspinall is very good and currently holds the brief title, Michael J. White thinks Jon Jones' record is more impressive. In terms of leaving a lasting impression, he said that Alex Pereira has won 2 divisions, which gives his achievements more weight. Michael said that Tom has seen a lot of new boxers come and go, but Jon Jones is still one of the best when it comes to legacy. He said it would still be a good fight for Tom. However, Tom Aspinall said that the politics surrounding the fight are what are really bothering him right now, not the opponent in the cage. He said that he does have a fight coming up soon, but he couldn't say anything else. He said that he had already talked about it in other talks, and that he had to keep the rest of the information secret because of rules. When asked about the current state of the heavyweight class, he said that many top fighters don't seem eager to participate. He couldn't speak for them, but he thinks this is because of fear, strategy, and the way the system works.
Talking of next fights, one of the big topics of conversation is kind of what's next for you. It almost feels like your biggest opponent at the moment is the politics outside of the cage rather than who you're actually facing. How is it? Where are we at? What's going on?
Well, this is not an exclusive. I've said this before on other media outlets. I've got a fight coming up soon, so I can't say anything else other than that, really.
Obviously, you're not going to tell us who, when, or anything like that. I know you're not allowed. But in terms of the heavyweight division, why do you think the top guys are so reluctant to fight at the moment? Do you think it's fear? Do you think it's strategy? Or do you think it's the system just giving them reasons not to?
Probably all 3, I would imagine.
He confessed that political issues in sports were new to him, only becoming a major concern in the last 10 months of his career. Tom described top sports as being riddled with problems like this, saying that it is a necessary aspect of the game at the highest level. Despite the hardships, he showed hope about the future and stated that he is sure that things would turn out well in the end. He ended by noting that supporters should look forward to what is to come.
There's a lot of there are a lot of politics involved, unfortunately, but that is the nature of elite sports. That's what happens. It's not something that I've experienced too much of, to be honest, up until the last kind of 10 months of my life. But I think, I really believe it's going to come good in the end and everything's going to work out for the best. So we look forward to that.
Furthermore, Daniel Cormier talked frankly and decisively about Jon Jones' present stance, stating that being a champion involves standing up when the occasion calls for it. With Tom Aspinall clearly up to the task, Cormier wondered why Jones seemed hesitant. He reflected on his own past and stated that the Jon Jones fans have always admired was a warrior who never turned away a difficult battle. Cormier stated that if he were still competing, this fight would have already occurred for him, as facing someone dangerous is the type of motivation that differentiates a true contender, making Jones' present lack of desire difficult to comprehend.
Jon Jones will get to retire from fighting. But if he doesn't fight this guy, then that's just him quitting. There's one real fight for him, and he's not so old and washed up that he can't take it. So that's how I feel about that. We fought them all. I can tell you guys on good authority, if I was still fighting today and I was still the heavyweight champion and Tom Aspinall was the #1 contender, I would have already fought him. 1,000%. The mindset that I carried through my fight career, knowing how dangerous, it would have been nothing but excitement to see someone standing across the octagon that could potentially beat me or knock my ass out. That would have made me train harder, smarter, and be more prepared than I ever could have been. That's what that would have done to me. What it's doing to Jon Jones is very disturbing, and it's very hard for me to understand, because in my mind, this guy's a fighter, because I've seen him do it time and time again. I don't know. It's very, very, it's a very weird situation going on with this Jones thing.
Cormier also stated that the delay is having a major impact on the MMA industry. Despite Jones's previous triumphs, Cormier thinks that skipping a unification bout does not reflect the mindset of a true champion. He suggested that Jones should clarify the title picture rather than add to the doubt. According to Cormier, defeating Aspinall would only boost Jones' legacy and silence naysayers once again. Instead, Cormier thinks fans are seeing a version of Jones that does not match the excellence he once demonstrated.
The right thing is to go fight this kid. And if you beat him, which is a real thing and a real likely scenario, you can then stick it to everybody like you've done on so many different occasions and tell them about it. Nothing feels better to a guy like Jon Jones to be able to beat the guy that you thought was going to get him, and him going, what did I say to you? It's sweeter than any title or anything else you can give this man. But he's got to be willing to take that chance to go and fight this dude. Hey, could Tom Aspinall put him out? Absolutely. Tom Aspinall could put him out. He could shut his lights out. Because guess what? You can hit Jon Jones. He can be hit. But he's tough. And he has a great chin. He can be hit, though. And if he gets hit by that dude, a big guy like that who's fast, Tom could put him out right away. That's a real possibility. But there's also a possibility that Jones takes him deep into a fight that he's never, in a place where he's never been before, where Jones has lived. Jones has lived in those places, and he could drown Tom Aspinall. But we'll never know if this dude don't just fight or quit. Or quit. That's the truth. Not everybody gets to
Furthermore, when questioned if Jon Jones' choice not to fight him will have an impact on either of their legacies, Tom Aspinall responded calmly, stating that such matters do not bother him. He stated that he just concentrates on what he can manage and delegated the rest to others. Whether or not people think he needs to defeat Jones to be called the best is up for debate, according to him. Aspinall made it plain that he is more focused on the problems ahead of him than on comparisons or what-ifs.
And I know what you're going to say, Jon Jones is retired. Yeah. But if he never steps into the cage with you and you two never fight, what do you think that does for his legacy, but also for your legacy? Is it possible for you to be the best and be the greatest without beating him?
That's someone else's opinion, to be honest. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm not really thinking about that too much, to be honest.
So that sort of stuff doesn't bother you, as long as you're fighting the people that are in front of you.
I can only control what I can control. The other stuff is to do with other people.
Reflecting about his journey, Aspinall was asked what he would tell his 10-year-old self, who dreamed of being a winner. He grinned and said he'd tell that kid he'd done well, but added that the road was far from ended. He joked that he is not yet in silk pajamas and that there is no need for a goodbye speech. Aspinall underlined that there was still work to be done and urged himself to keep pushing while enjoying the trip.
Well, if you were to talk to that 10-year-old boy who first kind of put his dreams on becoming a champion, what would you say to him now about the whole kind of ride and the whole journey of this?
I'd say I've done pretty good. But like you said before, it's not over yet. We're not in the silk pajamas yet, or whatever the phrase is.
It's not the big goodbye speech.
Yeah, we're not giving it. There's more work to do, so keep at it and keep enjoying.
Rashad Evans, on the other hand, took a more balanced approach, acknowledging Jones' famous career and the pressures that come with protecting such a heritage. Evans thinks Jones is not afraid of Aspinall, but rather is reflecting on whether battles are still important to him after so many years at the top. Each action for Jones is now linked to his legacy and personal goals. Evans thinks that this choice is about more than just facing a difficult opponent. It is about determining what still inspires a fighter who has done it all.
All right, last thing. Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, who you got?
I got Jon Jones. I think Tom Aspinall is a man, but I feel like, Jon Jones is just another level. He can do it in so many different ways with his striking, with his grappling, and I feel like, being in a situation, coming in a fight where he's kind of being pushed into this point, I feel.
Tom's a big boy.
Yeah, but I feel like with Jon's a big boy too, and Jon knows how to fight like a big boy. Right. One thing I feel like what Tom does really well is he moves so well, and I feel like that may give Jon a little bit of trouble, but I feel like Jon is smart enough to figure it out.
Michael Bisping was more optimistic about the situation. He thinks the UFC is keeping the announcement quiet on purpose, working behind the scenes on a massive promotional campaign. In his view, the quiet might be part of a larger plan that includes press tours and surprise reveals to make the fight feel like a huge event. Bisping thinks the build-up will be worth it if it results in a historic and well-marketed confrontation.
Now, of course, this is one of the most highly anticipated fights in all of UFC history. And you can't just announce it, oh, the fight's going to happen. No.
That's stupid.
Fights of this magnitude, the UFC want to do a proper job. They want to announce it in a spectacular fashion. They want to have a press conference. They want the world's media there. They don't want someone on YouTube or whatever or on the phone just going, yeah, the fight's happening, right? Even when I was fighting my fights, I wasn't allowed to announce them. They wanted to announce them, as I said, in the proper way to make sure that all the world's media is there and it gets all the coverage that it deserves. This is the kind of fight that, of course, deserves that kind of attention. This is a fight the world are crying out for.
Chael Sonnen said that Jon Jones sought $12 million to meet Tom Aspinall, and the UFC approved, making it the most lucrative paycheck in UFC history. This number exceeds what Brock Lesnar, Georges St-Pierre, and Ronda Rousey made during their heyday. Despite securing the deal, Jones is yet to make a firm move. Sonnen claimed that Jones may not be avoiding the fight, but rather waiting for the proper time or trying to gain more leverage in talks. He painted a picture of a fighter who was calculated rather than hesitant.
Allegedly, the number that Jon wanted, and I believe that to be $12 million. I got my own sources. I don't believe that Jon's turned it down. Even though Ariel's confirmed it, even though that's believed in our industry, I do not believe that Jon Jones got a phone call matching Jon Jones's demands and he said no. And I do not believe that Jon Jones would play that game of chicken. Moreover, I don't believe that if he did, we wouldn't have heard about it. If they believe it, if it's to the point that they're ready to move on, it's to the point when they're done trying is when they go book a different fight.
However, Robert Whittaker voiced irritation with the delays. He first supported Jon Jones' right to take time for recovery and meticulous planning, but now, he thinks the situation has carried on for too long, and the enthusiasm surrounding the potential bout has turned to disappointment. Whittaker is especially concerned about Tom Aspinall being left in limbo. He thinks that a genuine champion should be actively defending the title, and he questions whether Jones should still be holding the belt if he is not going to use it.
Honestly, who cares now?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like, I'm done. I'm done with waiting. It's like, yeah, it's like Elder Scrolls 6, dude. It's just like, you know what I mean? Just, you gotta have to play something else, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm done. And honestly, everyone nagging him and poking at him and trying to get clips and stuff is worse for me. Like, they're like, yeah, it's way worse for me. It's just, I'm done with that too. I'm just done. I think.
I get it.
I don't know how Jones still holds the title, honestly. Like, I know I've mentioned when we first started speaking about this many moons ago, how I was like, no one's stripping Jones. You can't do that to him. But mate, come on, you're taking the piss now. you're taking the piss now. I was like, but let just. I know. How long's it been since Tom's fought last?
Man, almost a year. Almost a year. It's actually insane.
Fighting.
Frank Mir gave a fair viewpoint, describing Tom Aspinall as a gifted heavyweight with enormous potential. He recognized Aspinall's speed and striking as major weapons, but he defended Jon Jones from charges of avoiding the fight. Mir said that Jones has spent years taking on the best opponents and has earned the right to be selective at this point in his career. He cited Jones's long-standing dominance in the sport as proof of his reliability. While admitting Aspinall is dangerous, Mir stated that if Jones can turn the fight into a close-range physical duel, he thinks Jones would win.
I think Aspinall's a phenomenal heavyweight. I think he's going to be there for a while. With Jon, it's hard for me to tell people. The guy has earned so much. I feel like sometimes people have short memory in our sport. The guy has been one of the most dominant fighters of all time. If he wants to pick and choose who he fights, at a certain point, he kind of earned the right to. But he faces criticism, I guess, from other people. But as far as what settles in my stomach, well, I get it because look how people are short memory with him right now. Well, he's not the GOAT. He's dodging Tom. Like, man, this guy fought everybody. I don't count him out in a fight with Aspinall. I've trained with Jon. I know how he feels when he grabs a hold of you. I think Tom's hands could really be the X factor if we can catch him or not. Tom's striking is more powerful than a lot of the people and speed-wise in Jon's face. If Jon grabs him, though, I'm betting on Jon.
Rampage. Jackson professed enormous admiration for Jon Jones, adding he does not think anyone can actually defeat him. Rampage reflected on their own fight, recalling that despite being in terrific shape, he was unable to overcome Jones' skill and tactics. While Rampage accepts that Tom Aspinall is a strong and capable challenger, he does not regard him as a real threat to Jones. He also revealed that Jones may be spending 6 months studying Aspinall's approach in preparation for a future fight. Rampage lauded Jones's battle IQ, referring to him as the Neo of MMA due to his unique ability to read opponents and control the pace and result of fights.
You fought Jon Jones back in the day. People are
why you only bringing up my losses?
People are all talking about Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. How do you see that fight going? You got Tom or you got Jon?
Man, I don't think there's nobody on this planet that can beat Jon Jones because I was in there with him. I was at my best, and I've never lost a fight at my best until Jon Jones. And no disrespect to Tom Aspinall, but he a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? I think he's probably second best out there, but I don't see him.
You think Jon Jones finishes up?
I think Jon Jones is just a real smart fighter. I heard something like he want to take 6 months before he fight Aspinall. I think it's because he want to study him. He want to break him down, Right. Jon Jones ain't no fool. He's probably one of the smartest fighters out there. I say he like Neo. He's Neo of him.
Colby Covington openly attacked Jon Jones for avoiding real challengers like Tom Aspinall. He argued that Jones has a habit of selecting opponents who give him an advantage rather than facing the most dangerous competitors accessible. Covington claimed that Jones avoided a battle with Francis Ngannou for years and is now doing the same with Aspinall. He stated that facing an older Stipe Miocic rather than the younger, speedier Aspinall shows a lack of guts. Covington did not hold back, labeling Jones a coward and a cheat, and saying that this pattern shows his unwillingness to face the most serious dangers.
Dude, Jon Jones is an absolute disgrace to this earth. He's a joke. I mean, yeah, you beat Stipe. Respect to Stipe first off because he's a first responder and he puts his life on the line for the people and for his community. So shout out to Stipe. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time, but he was past his time. He shouldn't even have been there, man. He knows he was old and he was just showing up for a paycheck. That's not the Stipe of old. That was in his prime anymore. So I don't think anything special with that performance. I think Jon needs to stop ducking Tom Aspinall just like he ducked Ngannou. He ducked Ngannou for years. Now he's ducking Aspinall. So he doesn't want to fight the guys he knows he's getting his ass whooped against. So I don't think anything special to Jon.
Francis Ngannou had a contrasting stance, claiming that while Jon Jones says he does not need to fight Tom Aspinall, Aspinall actually needs to fight more. Francis Ngannou noted that defeating someone like Jones would be a major milestone in Aspinall's career, whilst Jones would receive little in return. He also stated that Aspinall would be a tougher opponent than Alex Pereira, due to his excellent wrestling and better ground skills. For Nanu, the matchup is more fitting for Aspinall's ascension than Jones' legacy.
He keeps saying he doesn't want Aspinall.
Aspinall will need that fight. I don't need it. When you look at it, pretty much true. There's nothing that he's going to make winning that fight if it's not money. But for Aspinall, that will be everything.
Would you rather see him face Aspinall or would you rather see him face Pereira?
Aspinall will be a more challenging fight because Aspinall responds to a ground game better than Pereira. Aspinall will respond better in wrestling than Pereira. He can do whatever.
Joe Rogan lauded Jon Jones for his long-term supremacy in MMA, stating his ability to overcome top-tier opponents such as Daniel Cormier. He added that Jones' success goes beyond his physical abilities, citing his smart, thinking, and intelligent approach within the cage. Jones, according to Rogan, knows how to minimize damage while breaking down his opponents, showing a level of knowledge that sets him apart from the majority of fighters.
Jon dominates everybody. He took down Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is an Olympic wrestler. I mean, he's a phenomenal wrestler, and Jon took him down, and took him down multiple times. He's a different dude, man. Yeah. This is what we're talking about, like with genetics, right? There's some guys, they're just blessed. And then with Jon, it's blessed and his mind. It's not just, it's his personality, his like ruthless competitiveness. It's like, he's not going to lose. He's going to find a way to get you. And he's going to do it clever. He's not trying to take a bunch of punishment and stand and bang. He's not going to point the center of the octagon. Let's go right here. We'll stand right here. Never going to happen with Jon Jones. You're not getting none of that, son. You're getting knees to the gut. You're getting your knees kicked. You're getting just laced up with elbows where your head's bleeding. He's going to slowly dismantle you and find a way to submit you or punish you, beat you to death on the ground.
At the same time, Rogan recognized Tom Aspinall's major challenge. He referred to Aspinall as a freak in the heavyweight division due to his unusual combination of speed and size, in contrast to other heavyweights such as Francis Ngannou. According to Rogan, Aspinall moves with the agility of a much smaller man. This, mixed with his power and ground skills, makes him a unique and dangerous opponent for Jones.
But can he do that with a guy like Aspinall, who's a legit 255-pound natural who moves like he's 80 pounds lighter? He's a freak, man.
Yeah.
Aspinall's a freak. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Yeah. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem.
So, what are your thoughts about this? Share your views in the comments box, and please subscribe and like if you appreciate it.